WFCA to attract members out there? I think everybody pretty much is aware of the WFCA. They maybe aren't aware of a lot of the, the services that you offer, but I think they are aware of it. What's happening in that area?
Well, one of the things that changed, obviously, is when we changed our purpose statement, again, to be focused on the success and profitability of retailers, we began to target getting retail members in. We did it in a couple of ways. We hired Frida Staten, who formerly worked at Shaw as well. Frida's whole focus is she's the Vice President of Membership and Affiliate Relations. We have about 18 affiliates throughout the United States. We actually have one from British Columbia who will be coming on very soon. And we had all those affiliates in Orlando a few weeks ago. And we sat down and asked 3 simple questions. What can WFCA do for you? What can you do for WFCA? And what can you do for each other? Had a phenomenal meeting. They just love talking to each other. I mean, you know this, Dave, you've done interviewing for so long, but they hear you and I different than they hear each other. And so when they sat down with somebody who said, I'm using this and it works, here's how I'm attracting more members. Because the reality is, for years, with a very limited staff, there was only so much we could do to attract members. With a revitalized and vibrant affiliate group, then we can certainly use them as our arms to attract even more members down the line. And so we've done that. And by the way, our membership is up on the retail level pretty dramatically this year, and we're really excited about that. More excited about the impact that we can have on those members as they come on board. Affiliate summit in Orlando that we had at Rose and Shingle Creek a few weeks ago, one of the most ironic statements I heard is at one point we had all the affiliates break up into 3 small groups, and they were to tell us what they need the WFCA corporate to do for them. And one of the ladies looked at me and said, I had no idea what y'all were already doing. You have so much. She said, I can't think of a thing more that you can do. And so we begin to realize the challenge is not just having the right stuff. The challenge is communicating to people that you have the right stuff and getting them to utilize it. And
that's really key, isn't it?
In any industry. I mean, we push back against change because we think what got us there will keep us there. The problem is there's not where you want to stay because the industry around you is changing. And so we are working distinctly on communication and how we communicate. Premier Foreign Retailer, our magazine, was launched to have a vehicle that people could hold in their hand and pass along that would help them understand how to do retail better. And the feedback on that has been phenomenal. We have people that say, when's the next issue coming out? We're every other month, not every month. But it gives us a way to communicate to our members that we did not have before. This database of members in the flooring industry is not as tech savvy because we aren't filled with millennials. And so they still like to get their information in a way that they can hold it in their hand. Now, some of them go on email, some of them go on LinkedIn, some of them have some data driven to them, but they like both. And so PFR allows us to communicate to them, to share information about best practices, to bring in outside experts that aren't associated with the industry at all, but know best practices. People like Josh McGinnis, who talks about how to be successful in business. People like Stan Beecham, who is a clinical psychologist, who talks about how to make your people understand success and how to position them in an environment where success is possible. Do you have them on the right seat on the bus? And we always talk about, do we have the right people on the bus? Well, that's one thing, but once you get them on the bus, are they where they need to be successful for you and for them? And so we've really focused on communication and how we can get more information to our people. Just created a couple of new LinkedIn sites specific to groups. We've got one for our board now that communicates directly to our board on an ongoing basis. We just created one for our affiliates. So we're driving information to them and through them to help them connect with each other. So a lot of good stuff going on.
Very interesting. One of the names you didn't mention was Jeff King.
Yes.
Your legal counsel, who's done an awful lot of work, very, very helpful for the retail community.
Yeah, Jeff, I see him as one of us, even though he is an outside consultant to us. But Jeff does a phenomenal job. He has been a part of the WFCA, I think maybe about as long as Candy Weitzel has, and so they've kind of kept that thing going through some tough years. Jeff and I have had the privilege to go to DC many times and to lobby on behalf of key issues that are impacting the flooring industry. Jeff keeps me up to date on all that. If something new comes up, I'll get an email and Jeff says, listen, do we want to tackle this one? And then we have a great lobbying firm called Lobby It in Washington, DC, who has, to me, taken a unique approach to lobbying where they build relationships with the staff. They know the congressman and they know the senator, but what many people don't realize is the congressman and the senator very rarely write the legislation. It's written by somebody on staff, and so they developed phenomenal relationships with the staff that allow us access to the key players, and we get to go in and meet with the congressman, with their staff, and let them know why these issues are important, why some of the decisions that are being made in DC are having a negative impact on small business, and specifically small business in the flooring industry. We love fighting that fight.
Well, communications is really key here, and letting these individual retailers know that you're here, number one, and number two, all the various tools that you offer. Let me just ask you to sum up this whole conversation really about that whole key communication aspect.
Yeah, I think what we're looking to do is to be a full partner to people that need a full partner. I mean, obviously there are a lot of great groups out there that are meeting that need. We want to help meet that need from a training standpoint and resource standpoint, and so we have specifically set out to fill the gaps. So we talked to a lot of the other groups and we said, okay, we're looking at developing this, and they'll say, you know what, good, so we won't develop that. We talked to some of the other associations and said, listen, we're working on this training. They say, great, maybe there's a way we can utilize that training of yours and you can utilize this training of ours. To sum it all up, Dave, we're an organization that is having an impact. Relevance was the word I used in our first interview together. We want the WFCA to be relevant. We are once again relevant. The challenge is not getting people on board. I mean, if you look at joining the WFCA, you pay less than $300 and we give you up to $500 back to use in scholarship money, tuition reimbursement that you can utilize for training throughout the industry. That's a no-brainer. I can get you on board by telling that story. The challenge is keeping you. We have to become important to you, vital to you, not just relevant to you. Relevant simply means you know me. I want to be an important part of your success. And so we're constantly looking at developing tools, bringing on vendor partners that have already created those tools to give you greater visibility, to increase your reach, to simplify your life, and to help you make more money. That is our goal. And I would just challenge everybody who's seeing this video, if you're not a part of the WFCA, certainly to me, this would look like a sales pitch, but you're missing out because we exist to make your life better and to make your life easier. And for $295, I don't see where you're going to find that bargain anywhere else. Let us represent you, whether it be in DC or whether it means coming to your store and doing some training specific to your staff. Our goal is to make the industry better by impacting one retailer at a time.
Well said. Thanks, Scott.
Thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
We're talking with Scott Humphrey. He is the CEO of the WFCA, the World Flooring Association. This is Talk Floor TV.